California Secretary of State with Richard Winger, Ballot Access News, as my campaign manager. So I'll be moving out to California at the end of September. And again, I guess my own business is free and equal, but how perfect is that, for the run and all. But in any case, he's a great guy, and like I said, with Free and Equal, we want to have that literally online portal where people and candidates from across the political spectrum, like Peter Schiff, like Rand Paul, all those guys can really have access to a portal and online debates and whatnot.
And of course, Dan Reel's doing it again, and he was just telling us before you came on how you guys were working together last time in 2008. Dan Reel's doing it again up there in Connecticut, running for federal Congress, the House. And you tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it was very interesting because at the last minute we had so many petitions on the floor you could barely see the carpet. But that just goes to illustrate how intense it can get. And I know a few times it was just tension all around, just trying to run around last minute, but we did it. And
now, these were petitions just to even get on the ballot, is that correct?
Just to get on the ballot. And basically, one lesson I took away from it is it's one thing to fight hard, but we've got to fight smart this time. I know there was one instance where I was told, and Ralph Nader petitioners were told, you can't petition on a public street. And the police basically threatened us with arrest, and after 20 minutes, they kind of backed down. I mean, I didn't argue with them. I just asked, well, what statute authorizes you to do this? And basically my take was, from that, what happened with the petitions, we're dealing with a lot of criminal issues with civil suits, and I think if we start going into the criminal, we can really break this wide open.
What do you think of that, Christina? Is your organization in the business of filing lawsuits?
Well, let's see. To date, I've personally filed 2 lawsuits myself, so can't say it's great and enjoyable, but we're going to be filing a lot, whether it's for the electoral system. In New York, we were ready to file a suit. We went into that drive, and we were glad Eads got on the ballot and whatnot. But as far as the petitioning, yes, there will be, I can't tell you what the lawsuit would be to date, but there will be one lawsuit, there will be a certain circumstance that we will pick with the petitioner, whether it's myself or somebody that's really well known or, an advocate to the petition for 20 years. But we will pick a certain location and we will file a lawsuit and we will win it. And we will use that suit to protect many other petitioners out there. So, I myself, I've gathered, this is when my dad ran in 2002, I think I gathered over 5,000 signatures for him alone. And so I know how hard that work is, being on the ground. And now I do coordinate, but it's rough work, and I really value all the petitioners out there and whatever we can do, working with, allies like Dan Reel. You've been awesome. It's been great getting to know you the last couple months, and others like that. We're definitely going to be able to make another dent in the system from a totally different angle. So.
Right. Now, not only is it, the Republicans and the Democrats, the 2 major parties, they already have a huge constituency. So obviously it's a lot easier for them to reach out and meet these petition criteria. But, oftentimes it turns out that they even have to receive less signatures to get on the ballot. What the heck is going on with that?
Yeah, that's pretty significant. Here in Illinois alone, third-party candidates have to get 25,000 signatures. That means, you got to get at least double. My dad got 60,000 in '98 and still got knocked off the ballot, which he, sued the State Board of Elections and went all the way to the Supreme Court. But in any case, 25,000 signatures. The R's and D's, they only have to get 5. So it's a lot of things. It goes even further than that. In Illinois, just to become an established party, you have to get 5% of the vote during a race for governor. That means, 10% of the vote for a race for governor. That means you could have a presidential candidate on all the ballots, and it doesn't matter. You're still not established in Illinois, so you have that threshold. Then it goes even deeper than that, Raymond. Once a party does become established in Illinois, like the Greens were able to do in 2006, I was actually helped get them on the ballot, was hired for that. But in any case, now you have the Senate trying to pass a bill here in Illinois called HB 723. For example, when you're established in Illinois, you only have to gather 5,000 signatures. But what this bill does is that it makes it that if you don't run somebody in the primary, you have to gather a significant amount of signatures all over again for them to run in the general election. So it's a horrible bill. And, you have a governor here, Governor Quinn, you have a Ryan Blagojevich, Illinois governors and all, but Quinn, going out and calling himself a champion of reformer, all in the papers, and here's a bill, and he's trying to talk about negotiating it. Why is there any negotiating? It should be vetoed. It's a horrible thing. I think less than half of those spots, those races were even filled at the last election. So less than half, that is, according to Richard Winger, they ran unopposed, that is, in the races. So by passing this bill, it just makes it more difficult for people to even run for office.
This is corruption, plain and simple.
It gets better, though, in Connecticut, because if you've never run as a third party, or no one's ever run as a third party, and they're not established, and they didn't get the 1%, you have to petition for the petition.
Explain that, Dan.
Well, you have to get 25 signatures and then basically go out and wait for the Secretary of State to get around to it. I had that done in January. I didn't actually get my pages until late April.
So you have to get 25 signatures and then submit them to the Secretary of State just to get the approval to go out and collect your signatures so you can get on the ballot.
Yes, you have to petition for the petition, right?
Unbelievable.
Well, it gets even worse. It gets even worse than that, Dan. This is totally, as far as challenges, you have all these incumbents, spending a limitless amount of money, to keep people off the ballot. Even the Democratic state chair in Illinois in 2004 used full-time state employees from his office and successfully knocking Ralph Nader off the ballot. It doesn't matter if it's Nader or Ron Paul or whoever the candidate. It's just plain wrong. But it even went as far as back in 2002, one of the Libertarian candidates, Jerry Kahn, was challenged by a guy named Bob Rita. And the challenge was so bogus, and he knew it. He was just wasting time, resources to keep third parties' independence from campaigning is what it is, and, tapping into wasting their resources. But he even came up to me, had the guts to say, if you go out on a date with me, I'll drop the challenge. That is how dirty these politicians are, of course. We continued through the challenge and we won, but, yeah.
In Connecticut, and I know a lot of states are like this, they actually have statutes for what are called vexatious litigants. In Connecticut, I believe it's like a 30-day jail sentence and a $100 fine.
What is a vexatious litigant, Dan?
Well, basically, you sue people just to sue people, and you just do it to give them a hard time.
Right, and that can be devastating to a third party in terms of the money they have to spend on legal fees, in terms of the time they have to invest, keeping them focusing from simple things like getting their signatures just to get on the ballot, let alone even begin to campaign.
Oh, yeah. God forbid we actually spend any time, not collecting signatures or raising money or campaigning.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're joined by Christina Tobin and Dan Reel. Christina Tobin is the founder of Free and Equal Elections, and they are working, as you hear us discussing, on free and equal access to ballots, and that includes debates. Christina, you're instrumental in the 2008 presidential elections and actually allowing third parties to be heard. You want to tell us about that briefly?
Sure. The debates were all about getting the people involved, too. The first debate we held, I finished up as the National Ballot Access Coordinator for Nader and transitioned right into the debates. Was